show you how to install a zipper. I'm just going to explain how a zipper foot is used. So I have my two sewing machines here, and they both have the pop-on, pop-off feet. Now, a zipper has got a zipper pull at the top, zipper stop, and zipper teeth. If I were to sew this zipper to this piece of fabric using my all-purpose foot, you would see that my foot would be riding right on top of the zipper if I'm going to sew on the zipper tape. So it's kind of like, I call it four-buying, like you're going four-buying. So that's not going to give you a very smooth sew. You're going to be like sliding all over around, and you're going to have bumpy stitches and stuff. So the zipper foot was created to go on the zipper tape without touching the zipper teeth. So I'm going to pop this foot off here, and I'm going to pop on this foot, which is your most typical pop-on zipper foot. It's got this bar that goes across that's twice as wide as this bar. So this bar is on our all-purpose foot, this bar is on the zipper foot, and the reason is that you can snap it on the right side or the left side depending on which way you're sewing. So I don't know which way I'm sewing right now. I'm just going to drop this on one side, and you'll see that the needle, when it goes down, misses that foot. It's really close to it, but it misses it. Now I'm going to put my zipper under here. I'm going to drop my foot, and hot diggity dang, what is it? It's right on top of the zipper teeth again. That means I chose the wrong side. So I'm going to lift this up, drop it over to the other side. Now when I put this on here, you'll see it clears the tape, and the zipper, the needle is going to go down in that opening in the foot. Now, I personally want to have my needle a little bit further in on the tape, so I could move my needle over a little bit further and use it over here. What I can't do is move my foot over further. It does have a little bit of clearance here so that you can kind of have it over top of the teeth while you're sewing, but I find that never really works very well for me to have that part of the foot on the teeth. It just makes it really difficult to sew. So instead I'm going to move the needle over, and I'm in the straight stitch. And you'll see I'm sewing on the tape, and I'm using the edge of the teeth as my guide. And like I said, I'm not showing you how to put a zipper on. Oh, and I have no tension. Let's see, if I look at this, what's happening here? You can see the bottom threads on the top. That means that the top is winning the tug-of-war, which means that the bottom is not actually installed correctly. So the bobbin is actually not. It's missing. It's completely out of the tension. That's your little mini lesson on how to spot what's going on with your tension. All right, so if I flip this over, you can see I've attached the fabric to the zipper tape. And if I were actually doing this, say, as a centered zipper, I would do a second pass. And I'll put this in. And now, again, I'm on the wrong side of the foot. I'll take the foot off and I'll move the needle over. So that's this type of foot. And this is actually one of my least favorite zipper feet. And it's the one that you're going to find most often with the modern sewing machines that you buy. I will, if I get one like that, I will actually go online and I'll find this other zipper foot. It's a very narrow zipper foot. So if you look at the two, like the foot itself is narrow and the top is narrow. So it's just got that single bar. You don't have to pick a side. You just pop it on. Now if I push the needle down, ooh, it's gonna hit the foot. So you have to be really careful about positioning your needle, but instead of moving the foot to right or left, you move the needle to the right side or the left. And then that way you don't have to worry about like which direction you're going. So on this one, I'll pop it down and set it down, and I'll be like, okay, I've cleared the teeth, but if I sew with the needle over here, I'm gonna be too far away. I'm gonna move the needle on this side. That's a little bit too close, so I'll move out a little bit. And it's being stabilized really well in there. Actually, for a real centered zipper, you gotta have that halfway through the teeth. Just splitting hairs. Another thing that I like about this particular presser foot is that if you look at it here, there's not that huge lip on the side. I call it a lip, I don't know what the actual word is, but if you look over here, there's the back of the foot's almost directly in line with the front of the foot. So there's nothing overhanging to get caught on things. And for some reason on these fat ones, not only are they this wide, but along the edge of this foot, bam, you have this like 1/4 inch lip that sticks out to the side that's really, it gets in the way. So, I mean, it'll work. You just have to adjust your needles. You have to switch it back and forth to either side. But I recommend if you want to do the pop on, pop off, go ahead and invest in one of these. So the other kind of zipper foot that's actually very handy to have is this infinitely adjustable zipper foot. They can come hinged or unhinged. This one does not have a hinge, and hinge just means there's like, some of them have these little hinges right here, so the foot itself can go up and down over top of, you know, bumps in your whatever you're sewing. But for this style, you have to take off the whole shank. So I have here my key, and I'm going to remove the foot and the shank instead of just popping off the foot. And then this comes back on and wraps around. And on this one, instead of moving the needle to the right or the left, this screw's never gone in as far as like, what? Those threads are stuck. So it takes a few minutes to get it on, but usually when you're doing zippers, you're spending a few minutes anyways. So right now, if I go down, I'm actually missing the foot, which is kind of, doesn't always happen, but I can move, by loosening this screw on the back, I can move the zipper foot to the left or the right, and I can get it completely out of the way, or I can have it really tight and close to the teeth. So it gives me a lot of options. Like a foot like this, you could almost use for an invisible zipper. So we're gonna do invisible zippers another day. This is just your regular zipper foot that works for centered or lapped zippers. So if I get this piece of fabric here and I put my zipper on, put this down, you can see that I'm actually going to be even able to clear the zipper pull with this type of a foot. It doesn't get in the way at all, and if it were to get in the way, I could always lift it up and slide it a little bit further over. So these little adjustable zipper feet are worth the time and effort to put on your sewing machine, to take the other entire shank off and using and you'll notice right here that I'm kind of off the fabric, so I'm having a little bit of trouble with it kind of slipping back and forth. So there's a fine balance between, you know, being tied up against the foot and having plenty of clearance, but the foot's what's stabilizing all of your fabric. So if your foot's not, you really want it to be on as much of the fabric as possible to keep things sewing smoothly. Now, I can take this off, flip it over, and move the zipper foot to the other side. Oops, I'm gonna hit it. Need it to be close, but not on top of it. There. Another, whoa. I'm way away from that zipper. There we go. I just got it centered up on the foot, but I didn't get it in the right spot. All right. Ooh, that is really close to that zipper. But I cleared it. And there's my first pass. So in the garment industry, this is how you do it. You don't really pin it. You don't sew that center seam and then unpick it later. You just do some hand holding and some folding, and it's all about how you handle it. So those are the 3 different type of regular zipper feet that you would use for sewing on a centered or a lap zipper. You could also use it to sew on piping or cording if you have to get up really close to it. Anything that you need to get really close to when you're sewing, those are your 3 options. Any questions?